Alright, I have not been here for, it must be over a week. Last week this was not happening, but one of the flowers my daughter chose is growing and it's very pretty, a lot prettier than I thought it would be. Although I thought on the package they were supposed to be red, this one came out blue, so who knows, maybe I just can't remember what I planted and that's the color they were supposed to be, but very pretty flowers. The ones over there by the thistle are mostly broken and I don't know if they'll produce flowers or not in their bent up shape, but maybe they will. This mint, this is the chocolate mint, just grows like crazy. It's I don't know if it's really spread out much. Maybe there's a little bit growing out further now, but yeah, it's just really growing like crazy, so I have to divide some of this and give it to my friends. My Jerusalem artichokes, if I'm standing in a swale right now, so they're about 14 feet high. Standing on regular ground level, that makes them about 12 feet high. But notice some of them are growing from about 3 foot high level, so let's cut that down to about 10 feet at the tallest. They're doing very well. We had some horrible windstorms though, and thunderstorms and heavy rain. One of them bit the dust. It was a big heavy one. It was leaning out. It was leaning out in this way up like that, and I guess the wind was too strong for it, pulled it down. And so I see some of the leaves are wilting. I think I could save it if I wanted to, but I'm actually curious to know how well the tubers are developing underground already. And so I'm going to probably dig this one up today and see what that looks like. Going around from the inside of the garden, I had a collapse of my I don't know what to call it, because these pumpkins are so insane. Remember I showed you in the last video I thought it would go up about 2 feet? Well, that pumpkin that grew up about 2 feet has grown up about another 8 feet, 9 feet long, plus another one from the other side's coming the other direction. It puts so much pressure on this cheap little yarn lattice of mine that it collapsed it. This tomato plant is still alive, but it's the most blighty tomato I've ever seen. I don't think I can save it. And you can see the top here is doing just fine, but just a foot below that, the whole tomato plant is blight. So I probably should just cut it and drop it, but I'm going to let it die on the vine. The rest of these pumpkins, though, I should go through, like, see, this is a secondary vine here that I'm bending. I should just chop that off because I don't really need many secondary vines growing. They're just adding more weight and they're not helping produce fruit or anything. So I probably should come through here and selectively cut off some tertiary, secondary vines and do that with all of my pumpkins. So here's some corn that's come up late. I mean, some of it I saw growing before, but I didn't realize there were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 corn plants growing right here. And they are in the shade most of the day. And this Jerusalem artichoke that's from here about 16 feet high, because I'm down in this deep swale I dug, shades it all day, so I don't expect them to produce any corn by the end of the year. It's really shady back here because of the Jerusalem artichoke. Amazing. Okay, the shade pretty much prevents anything from growing right here in this spot, so that's something to remember. Also, you can see that the ground has been worked a lot, and that's mice. That's definitely mice. Probably a little bit birds, but mostly 100% mice. And the mice dug out all the corn. I planted a beautiful line of corn along this whole thing, hoping that corn would form a path all the way through here. And they dug up every single hole, and there's not a single bit of corn growing except for over by the entrance to my top path. This is going to be the part where I show you my pumpkins. This is really the biggest one, and it's not the oldest. This was the second pumpkin I found growing. I've got it hanging. It's a green pumpkin. It's about the size of an American football right now, just a little bit shorter than an American football, and but about the girth of an American football. It's hanging, so hopefully the slugs won't get on it. I like that idea. I think that's the best idea I've come up with. So I saw a female flower growing here last week, so I hung one vine over it, but that vine didn't take. It didn't actually sprout yet. It's sitting right there. And this one started to, and I'm gonna throw a male flower in there, and I'm gonna do that right now. So here's a male flower. It's been chewed up and whatever. Oh, there's a little baby pumpkin. Look at that. Slugs have been on him. Luckily they haven't eaten it though. Anyway, so here's a little baby flower. This is a male. So what I need to do here is take out this, I believe, pistil. There should be some pollen left on this. And just in case this female, I mean, she looks like she's pollinated. See that little bulb? She looks pollinated, but just in case she's not, I'm going to move this around inside. And it's from the same plant, and I might go over and get some from a different plant. Here's the second plant over here. And there are two male flowers growing close to each other, so I'm going to pick this one. Oops. There it goes. All right. Oh, I broke the flower. These are kind of delicate. So I'm going to do the same thing here. So I'm just going to shove this in there and rub it all around and help pollinate this female. And I hope that she will grow us a nice pumpkin hanging on this little tripod that's only about 2 feet off the ground. Alright, I'm going to leave her there with that inside for now. Maybe another bee will crawl along both of them or something. So I've pollinated it with 2 different flowers. That's probably enough. And I think it was already pollinated anyway. I'm just making double sure. Looks like, what does it look like here? Something has blight, but what plant is here that has blight? Is that I don't think it can be anything but a potato plant. Okay, has to be potato. My potatoes are starting to die, which means it's probably going to be harvest time for potatoes soon. But I'm going to have a hard time making out where there are potatoes and where there aren't potatoes. It's just insane here. It's an overgrown jungle. I should have lots of peas right here. Yeah, look at that. There's a nice pea. I should have peas all over the place. I just have to hunt for them. Those aren't completely developed, but I should have lots and lots of peas. I know I have a bunch of pea plants all over the place in this mess. So I should have lots of peas to find today. I'll hunt for them without the camera. I've got lots and lots of tomatoes growing in that mess there. Can you see them? I'll move the camera closer. Can you see those tomatoes in there? Now, the tomato plant on the other side died, basically. I don't know how long to expect this one to make it. It seems to have fallen off the support stick that I put there. I staked it up and it seems to have fallen off. The pumpkin plant seems to have smashed it down, so I have almost zero hope for any really ripe tomatoes. Let's look at this. This is one of the best cucumbers I've got growing. It's actually climbing up this branch that I've stuck in the ground. So here's my collapse. You can see probably one dried old tomato. The tomato plants are still living up high, but down low it's just a dead tomato plant. This bean, broad bean, doesn't seem to be producing much for beans. This one was doing great, and the slugs discovered it was great, and there's not much left of them. So all my broad beans are turned into slug fodder. From the top, I can see another female that's probably pollinated there. Broccoli, broccoli. This pumpkin's making it up here finally. This bean has made it to the top, so if I can just train her to go up one of these, the steeper one probably, maybe she'll climb all the way up to that pole eventually. Doesn't really matter so much. If I could just learn to be a good farmer, I could grow a lot of stuff on this, but I'm just too sporadical and not here enough to do enough, and I don't water here. Everything that's grown here is grown from rainwater, and I'm just amazed that some things have grown as much as they have. Most guys that grow pumpkins have to water them all the time, and I just have to hope for rain. I still managed to make it through this path, but try not to crush my pumpkin. Alright, there's my step down. Alright. So here's a look at the Hugelkultur mess. It amazes me every time I come out here how much it changes. 8 feet of growth in a week is amazing for pumpkin vine, but I guess that's absolutely normal. Just really, really crazy. You can see here where one female had started to grow, and she wasn't pollinated properly and rotted off. She was just sitting like right there. So that one didn't turn into a pumpkin. That's too bad. It would have been hanging in a nice spot. It's all squishy and rotten right now. Down into the swale hole. Alright. Wanted to show you my potato harvest that I was doing today, just because I saw one potato plant that was dying underneath all of the pumpkin, and I thought, well, I might as well just harvest that one spot and see how my potato harvest is. Well, I found 3 or 4 little ones, and then I saw 4 or 5 nice sized potatoes there. And in the hole, if I can hold this camera back far enough, you'll be able to still see me pull out more potatoes. There's more potatoes in here I didn't expect. There we go, that's a nice potato. Look at that potato. Beautiful potato, bigger than any of the other potatoes. There's more potatoes in here. Look at that potato. Oh, look at those potatoes there. Look, there's 2 more. Look at that. This is from one plant. And so, oh, look at that potato there. Beautiful potato. Going back in. There's a small one. Itty bitty baby potato. So this is one plant, really. This is very exciting, because the potatoes that I planted were smaller than this one, about maybe this size, and I'm very happy with that one tiny little plant's production. There's another root hanging in here, so let me pull that out. I'm just dropping all of the potato plants and all the other junk I pulled out in the swale here. Found some corn that's growing up late. Anyway, let me dig through here. Oh, there's another potato plant. Let me dig in this a little bit. Just see. Oh, there's another one. There we go. Look at that. One plant still. This is all one plant. That's probably a good 2 pounds of potatoes. There's another potato back further. Look at that. Another potato in there on my Hugelkultur potatoes. Look at that. I wonder... I'm trying to figure out how to do this without making the whole wall collapse, though, so there's a baby potato. It makes it collapse pretty bad. I'm going to have to go through here and... Oh, that's a big one. That's not... Oh, okay, it's not a big one. It's a baby and another one. So that's one potato plant.